Live in Best Chicago Wholesale Deals Facebook group. Make sure my audio is on. But today we're going to be talking about how to get the best list. We're going to be going over the best list to contact, the best list to get started, to market to, and we're going to just describe those lists and go over how to do that. So we're in Best Chicago Wholesale Deals Live Facebook group. We have over maybe 200 plus training videos on how you can flip and cash flow houses without cash, without getting into debt. Why we do these trainings in hopes that we can partner on a deal in the future. We're buying properties, we're licensed realtors, we list properties, we do creative strategies. So if you have a deal, the goal is for you to send us a deal in the future. Maybe you need help with, maybe you need help moving, you can send it to us. Yeah. Our email or my email is here. We're also at bestchicagoWholesaleDeal.com. If you're Chicago market looking for deals, you can go to bestchicagoWholesaleDeal.com/buyers and join our email buyers list. And you can check out some deals that we have available now in the area. Right. So today we're talking about the best list to contact. So this is important, I think, because some people are in this business getting started and they're just calling and calling and calling leads, and no one wants an offer. It may be the list, right? Maybe you have one of the worst lists, right? Like for example, we want to start with distress. Some people that need to sell, people that have priority in selling. There's some kind of distress there, right? I see a lot of people make the mistake of maybe just contacting absentee owners, for example, right? There's no distress there, right? So I wouldn't start there. We do like absentee owner list to contact, but not to start with. To start with, I want more of a higher response rate, and those are going to come from the distress lists, such as this list here. So we have pre-foreclosure. These are people that haven't paid their mortgage, right? So they're behind on their mortgage. So there's distress. They're either gonna lose the house into foreclosure or they're gonna have to pay the mortgage, right? So that's a good lead to list to call, right? People that haven't paid their taxes. Tax delinquent, I would say, is our number one list. People that haven't paid their taxes, a lot of these deals are don't have a mortgage. Like for example, if a mortgage company has a property, usually they have an escrow where they pay if someone doesn't pay the mortgage, the mortgage company, the escrow company will pay the taxes still. So if the owner's behind a year on the mortgage, the taxes are still getting paid because the mortgage company doesn't want to get wiped out from non-payment of taxes, so they can lose all that money they put into it. But a lot of tax delinquent is free and clear, like they don't even have a mortgage, right? So um now these are huge. A lot of them have a lot of equity since they're free and clear and they haven't paid their taxes. So a lot of these deals have a ton of equity, right? So they haven't if their taxes are 3 to 5 grand a year, they haven't paid in 2 to 3 years, they only owe like 10 grand on the property, but the property is worth 100,000, right? So they're gonna lose the property for not paying 10 grand, but there's literally 90,000 in equity in the property, right? So tax liens are one of the best lists to contact. And I would go after those. I would make those probably priority. That's what we try to do. Probates, people that in passed away and someone family members inherited the property. So probates are great distress there. A lot of that was, unexpected. They just want to get rid of the property. They just, they don't have no a lot of times they don't have an attachment to the property, so they just want to sell it as quickly as possible and not have to deal with the headaches of managing a property, right? So probates are great list. There's a lot of distress there. Vacant homes, properties that are not cash flowing, not making any money. These could be a lot of property. These properties are maybe boarded up or unlivable. Maybe they need a lot of rehab and to make it rentable condition, right? So vacant homes, there's distress, a lot of distress there. Expired listings, they try to sell it, put it on the market, put it on the MLS, it didn't sell. These are great for creative strategies because a lot of times maybe they owe too much or they wanted too much on the price, but they do want to sell. So these are great for like creative strategies like rent to own or owner financing strategies. Code violations, people that have violations from the city, like for example, if they notice like a bunch of debris in your yard or in something wrong with the property, the city will come and put a violation on your property. And if you don't fix it in a certain time, they're going to start fining you, right? And a lot of properties all across the country, they have tons and tons of violations where the owners don't have the money to fix the violations, right? So this could be a very great list of distressed leads, right? And I know Chicago alone, I think last time I checked, there was like 900,000 code violation leads that you could potentially call. So, I mean, 900,000 properties that have a violation in the Cook County area. So, um, you're gonna have like this distress list here, you're probably gonna have tons and tons of leads to call. You never run out. Bankruptcies, people that are filing bankruptcy on their property, they can't pay for the property. So what happens, it goes to court and then the court will release it to be able to sell. And typically to file a bankruptcy, like a personal bankruptcy, like Chapter 7, you're getting rid of everything. You have to sell all your assets and then pay off all your collectors before you can completely complete that, right? So they're gonna have to sell the house eventually, right? And these may take a while. Same thing with like probates. Sometimes probates need to go to court if there's maybe, multiple siblings that are, not agreeing to sell or something like that. Bankruptcies do need to go to court, so you may have to wait. It's good to wait for these. Like sometimes you gotta wait 3, 6 months, and then you just keep following up with the court, keep following up with the seller, and you eventually get the deal. And divorce as well. Divorce is a great list. You have a married couple that have separated, of course, and all of a sudden that they both own, or that maybe they were both on the title, and now they want to sell the property. They want to, sell the property and get their proceeds out of it. So a lot of distress there. So I would start with these lists, like if you can get your hands on them. So these lists I would make priority in contacting in your area. So of course I'll pick a market, pick a zip code or neighborhood that you want to start at, and I would contact all these distress leads probably first, right? And you're going to get higher response rates. You're going to get more motivated sellers. You're going to be dealing with people that actually need to sell, want to sell their property, and you want to contact this list over and over and over again, because a lot of these people are maybe waiting on some lucky break where they can find the money to pay off the back taxes or the what's back owed on the mortgage. So you should be consistently not just contacting this list once, but over and over and over again. Like we would contact the list probably 6 or 7 times before we give up on it, right? But then we would always go back. Like let's say 3 months go by, I contacted all these leads in my market. 3 months go by, of course, you're gonna get tons of new leads, right? So you're gonna get tons of new tax delinquents, new pre-foreclosures, new probates, new vacant homes, new. So every like 3 months or so, you should go back and pull the same list because you're gonna have a ton of new leads to call, right? So start here. Start with the best list, the most distressed list, I would say, and you're gonna get a higher response rate. You're gonna get more motivated sellers. You're gonna get bigger spreads, and then the best non-distress list. So what I would do kind of is I would contact this list here, these list of leads here first, and then I would decide, do I want to stay in the same zip code or same neighborhood or same area, or do I want to go to stay in the same area and do the non-distress list, or do I want to move over to the next zip code or next suburb or next area and then start over and contact these distress leads again, right? Because when you go over to the non-distress list, you're gonna have to call a lot more people to get one lead, right? And there's gonna be a lot more leads. So for example, let's say you pick a zip code or pick a neighborhood a suburb or a village, and you get all these lists together, and you have 10,000 leads in your area, right? Every area is different. One zip code can maybe have only 500, right? Um, but but that same area that has 10,000 distressed leads, once you go over to non-distressed, um, like absentee owner, out-of-state owners, free and clear properties, once you go over to non-distressed lists, you're gonna see it go from 10,000. Now you got like 30,000, 40,000 leads. So it's gonna be like quadruple the amount of leads that you've had in the distress list. So these lists are, there's no distress, there's no urgency to sell, there's no they're just a list of leads that have a certain criteria that may be good to they may want to sell, right? Non-distressed leads like out-of-state owners, they simply own a house and they live out of state, right? So they own a property in Chicago and then their mailing address is in Florida, right? So that means that means they're out of state. They don't live there. So there's no like emotional attachment to the property. They're probably landlords that are just renting the properties out, right? So there's no distress there. So if you contact 10,000 out-of-state owners, yeah, you're gonna get a way lower response rate, way lower leads than a tax delinquent list where everyone probably is distressed there, right? Same thing with free and clear. So free and clear is they just don't have any mortgage on the property. They don't owe anything on the property. They own it free and clear. So there's a lot of equity, right? These are great deals to do, owner financing, creative strategies where maybe you can create a mortgage on the property and pay the owner over time, right? Since there's no mortgage on it. But free and clear properties, same thing. You're going to have to call a lot more than a probate list or pre-foreclosure list. So free and clear properties, they just own the property free and clear. There's no mortgage. High equity is similar to free and clear. Maybe there's a small mortgage, like maybe the mortgage is 100,000, but the equity on it is 500,000. So high equity list is good to contact as well. They have a lot of equity in the property. Absentee owner is they someone similar to out-of-state owners, but they may live in the same state or same area. So absentee owners, they own a property, they just don't live in it, right? So it's an investment property. They don't live in the property. So they can live down the street. They can live like across the street, right? So absentee owners, same thing. There really is not distress there. But absentee owner, you're gonna see like a lot of leads. So if your zip code has 10,000 distress, probably absentee owner may have like 40,000, 30,000 plus leads that you can call. And then tired landlords, these are well, this tired landlords would be under absentee owner either way. So tired landlords would be people that are landlords that own the property for a very long time. Maybe they owned it for 10, 15 years already. So absentee owners are same thing as tired landlords, basically. But these are the non-distress lists. And again, you're going to get 10 times, maybe 4 or 5, 10 times more leads on the non-distress than the distress list. Okay. But I would, again, start with the distress list, make sure you contact all of them in your market, and then move to the non-distress list. And I would say it's let's say that you start contacting a non-distress list and you're literally getting like zero deals, zero leads, and it's really not working. What I would do in that situation is maybe move over to the next zip code or next suburb or next area and then go back. And now I'm going to go back and contact the distress list. So I would say it's optional to go and contact all the non-distress lists. Maybe you maxed out your whole area and that's the last thing you need to do, then you can, right? I would also contact for sale by owner, for rent, Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook. You're gonna get a lot of sellers like unrealistic with their price. They're like way overpriced. So these are good for creative deals. These are good for maybe rent to own. We do rent to owns where we stay in the middle or assign it. Maybe these deals could be good for we found a bunch of deals for rent where we got like a rent to own and maybe turned around Airbnb it. or we did a lot where we got Airbnb management deal where we just managed Airbnb and cash flow it. So for rent section, great. Another one would be like I didn't put on here is Furnish Finder, furnishfinder.com, or properties already furnished, fully furnished, and they're trying to rent the property. But I would definitely stick in your market, stay in your market, and still contact these leads. For sale by owner, Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook, every single lead on for sale by owner, every single lead in the for rent sections, Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook, I would call them, contact them, let them know what you do. Hey, we're investors looking to buy properties. Do you want to offer on your house, right? We've done a ton of wholesale deals in the for rent section, right? Like there's people that maybe have tried to sell it and they couldn't, so they just end up trying to rent it. So you can get deals that no one knows about from the for rent section as far as like wholesale deals, even maybe you're doing straight options or normal listings, you can get a lot of listings from it too. But in my opinion, pick a market, stick to that market, contact every single for sale by owner, for rent, Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook. I would add Furnish Finder to that, and just contact them. Say, hey, if you were investors in the area, are you looking to maybe sell your property or an offer on your property? And then I would go to the distress list. I will start with one list at a time. Contact pre-foreclosures, tax delinquent, probates, vacant homes, expired listings, cold violations, bankruptcies, divorce lists. I will contact one at a time, just max out the list in your area. And then I would decide, do I want to do the non-distress list or do I want to move to a different zip code, neighborhood, suburb, and do the distress list over again in that area, right? So that's your decision, right? So yeah, the best list can make or break you. Like if you just get in the business and then someone just tells you, hey, just contact all the free and clears, right? You're gonna probably struggle, right? Like, and that has happened uh way too many times where someone is brand new and they're like, what list are you they're contacting absentee owners. I'm like, that's why you're struggling because there's no distress, right? So you're calling hundreds and hundreds of leads. Maybe you're calling like 300, 400 leads, and you can get one good lead out of like 300, right? So it's harder, right? Then if I went over to the tax delinquent list, maybe I call 50 to 70 leads, and all of a sudden I got one, two, three leads that say they want to offer on their property, right? So it makes business easier. It makes it that I can work less hours and make more money. It makes it where everything's easier, right? So I would say plan out your marketing that way. Your marketing plan, your marketing strategy, distress list first. I would definitely call every single for sale by owner for rent. They're already raising their hand saying they want an offer, so why not, make an offer on it? And the key here is also new leads, right? Like let's say 2, 3 months go by and you haven't contacted that list, you need to go back to it, go back and contact it again in the same area, right? Like a lot of people will just, oh yeah, I contacted all the distressed leads, all the for sale by owners for rent in this area, and that was like a year ago, right? And then all of a sudden, of course, a year later, you're gonna have tons and tons of new leads on the same list, right? So I would go back every maybe 3 to 6 months, um, and do the same list again, right? Because you're gonna have you're gonna have all new people on that list. Not all new, but a lot of new people, right? So we're looking for partners. We're buying properties, looking for partners. We give you leads to call, scripts to follow, systems to it comes up with the offers for you. All you're doing is, hey, calling the leads, making offers to the leads. We actually can even help you come up with the offers. You send us the deals, we split profits 50-50. If you're interested in that, go to kingdomracademy.info/homepage and you can check out how it all works. Okay. And we're gonna end in, of course, the Bible, Peter 1:6-7. First and foremost, the Bible is all about Jesus Christ. He wants a relationship with you. He wants to know you. He wants you to to him. Repent, it basically says change the way you think, right? Repentance. And come to him and know him, right? And then after we become a Christian, we're supposed to be reading his word, studying it, and becoming more like him every day, right? And knowing what the Bible says about many things, especially what we're going to talk about right now, is is freedom for me and for Christians in general, that and you that's what you want to do, is walk in freedom from everything, right? So 1 Peter 6:7, it says, "So be truly glad, this is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. And through your faith is far more precious than mere gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world." Wow. So it says, so the first word says, be truly glad. And then he's talking about trials. So, and there's multiple scripture on this where it says that you should rejoice in your trials. So when trials come, you should be rejoicing, right? When, of course, if your trials and suffering come from things you're doing that are wrong or bad, you shouldn't be rejoicing about it. But if your trials come and you're doing good, and we should be glad about it, because it's going to produce endurance. It's going to produce our character, produce so many different things. Like, I know for me personally, when trials came, it just purified me, right? Like, I got rid of all this junk that I was been doing my whole life because of trials, right? This is wonderful joy ahead, even when you must endure many trials for a little while. So it's saying that you should be full of joy when there's trials. You should be rejoicing because you're going to learn from it. You're going to grow. You're going to transform, become a better person. You're going to, after you endure the suffering and come out of it, you're going to be rejoicing, right? Jesus compares it to like having birth, right? Like when a woman's having birth, there's a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, a lot of painful situation, and then all of a sudden when the baby comes out, it's all rejoicing and peace and just joy and praise, right? So that's what he compares it Jesus compares it to. And these trials will show you that your faith is genuine. And so they're saying here that, like, what separates a true believer from a false one is, after all these trials come and you're still faithful, now we know it's genuine, right? But if a lot of trials come, suffering comes, pain comes, and of course there's going to be trials, suffering for all Christians, and because there's death, right? The worst thing that can happen is your loved one dies, someone dies around you, right? So trials are going to come, and we have to stay faithful, and it is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Through your faith is far more precious than mere gold. So it's saying your faith is more precious than money, right? And when our faith gets tested, it purifies us. Like for me, for example, my worst time when I lost everything, almost went bankrupt, went through a divorce at the same time, lost my health at the same time. It purified me. I got rid of so much junk, so much things that were not good, and it led me to it led me to obedience. It led me to, like, I just want, stop doing things my way. I want to do things God's way now, right? So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. So when your faith remains through many trials, and that's the thing, that's the test. Like, are you going to remain faithful, or are you going to fall away? And the Bible says those that fall away were never part of the family to begin with, were never Christian to begin with. It will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. And that's the thing, is like, if you know the Bible, you know that all the world events that are happening around the whole world, it's all leading up to Jesus Christ's return, and everything in the Bible is predicted 100% accurate. Like, everything is happening, that what the Bible predicted, right? And that's what we're looking forward to, the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. And that's how we stay remain faithful, is that we're always looking up, right? So how does this relate to business? Is in business you're going to have so many trials. You're going to have so many times you want to give up, so many times that you uh want to just throw in the towel and like, oh, this doesn't work, right? And it's those trials when you look back, like, let's say that for me, it took me like 6 months of just making offers every day and I wanted to give up and I finally closed my first deal, and all those rejections, all those people saying I'm stupid, all those people like yelling at me, and it was that made me where I'm at now, right? So all the trials, all the rejections, all the problems, it makes you who you are today, right? And you just have to go through that. And if you're brand new, it's like, yeah, I mean, this business is in the beginning it sucks. It's hard, right? And it's you're the person making the calls, you're the person meeting the seller, you're the one doing everything. You have to make hundreds and hundreds of calls a day to get one lead to make an offer. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of but if you get through it, you learn the business, you close your first deal, your second deal, your fifth deal, and all of a sudden you made some money and now you're able to actually hire somebody and now you can duplicate yourself. So I'm hiring somebody and all of a sudden I'm now cloning myself into the other person. So I don't have to make all the offers myself anymore, right? So it's just like then you look back a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years from now, all of a sudden you have 10 employees and you have everything is, you don't talk to sellers anymore, you don't meet sellers anymore, you don't analyze deals anymore because you have a team doing all that for you, right? But you had to go through the trials, the suffering, the pain to get to where you were, right? So that's pretty much any business that you start, you have to go through that, right? So a lot of people just most people will give up, right? Most people will give up in this business because it's a lot of work. It's hard, right? So if you guys have any questions, reach out. This is my number, email. Of course, if you have deals, send us your deals. We're looking to buy. Send us your deals, call, text, email, and any deals you guys have, send it our way. We're looking to close as many deals as possible. So any questions, call, text. We'll see you guys live next week, and we'll be live in the membership area tomorrow at 12. So God bless. Hopefully this training has helped you.